If you're only paying to be in a chapter of a book without quality control, without the research, where the cover is atrocious, where they don't have a plan, then you're paying for nothing other than an empty accolade that you're not really going to be able to truly leverage. The fifth path to publication is your vanity press. Your vanity press are your book compilations. They are your pay to play. Now, vanity press, literally, there's no quality control. It's you pay my money, you pay this amount of money, and we will publish it. So it's the fastest path to the accolade, especially, if you're only needing to do a chapter and then you're going to be able to say you're a best-selling author, right? It is the fastest path to the accolade. However, then once you have the accolade and you're trying to get booked on stages, or you're trying to get on podcasts or really promote that you're a best-selling author, the first question they're going to say when you're like, yes, I'm a best-selling author, they're going to say, amazing. Can you send me a copy of your book? Where can I get your book? How can I get your book? I'd love to read your book. And then you're like, well, actually, it's a book compilation. And right away, you've lost all credibility with them. Like right away, they're like, wah, wah, wah. And they may pull the invitation to appear on the show. They may pull your invitation to speak. So it is the fastest path to the accolade. However, if you are going to do it, you want to be strategic, and you want to make sure you've got your own book in progress and process. You want to make sure that you're able to pretty quickly follow up with having your own best-selling book out, which means that you want to also strategically time the releases, because you don't want a long period of time to go in between where you're saying you're a best-selling author, but the only thing you've got is your book compilation. Also with book compilations, they tend to not have the quality control. Every chapter is in a different voice. Some are active voice, some are passive voice. Some people, their stories are more compelling. Others are boring, right? Other people pour their heart and soul into it. Other people just dial it in because they just paid to play. So then even when you do have this finished product, if you are promoting it or you are giving it to people to read, again, it actually harms your credibility because it's so inconsistent. So super important, if you are going to do it, that you're actually insisting on seeing the prior volumes that they have done. You want to look at the cover. You want to look at the interior formatting. If it looks like a 6th grade book, right? Because it's just the font's too big, the margins are too big, the font's too curvy. Again, that's going to undermine your credibility. You're not going to be able to promote it. So ask to see their previous work. You want to look at it. You want to look at the cover. You want to look at the formatting. You want to look at the fonts. You want to read it for consistency. You want to look at the quality. You want to ask them, what is their quality control process? What is their editing process? What type of editing are they doing? Right? If they're just reading it and looking for typos, that's not editing. You can spell check and grammar check on your own, right? That's just them, trying to tell you something that they think you want to hear. You also need to ask them about copywriting, right? They're going to copyright the book. And if you don't know about copywriting and you haven't copyrighted your chapter before they've copyrighted the book, they now own your intellectual property. So it's so important to make sure that you are copywriting your chapter before you give it to them, and that you let them know that it's been copyrighted. Now, a credible book compilation will give you a reprinted with permissions form, which says, yep, we know that you own your copyright. We know that you own your intellectual property, and you are giving us permission to reprint your material that you own in our book. And we're acknowledging that we don't own the copyright. right? But you're giving us permission to put your chapter in our book. They need to give you that. If they're not giving you that, then it's a sign that they're copywriting the book, right? So it should be in a book compilation that each individual chapter owner has copyrighted their material. They own the copyright to that, which means that the book itself does not get copyrighted. So then on the legal page, on the inside of the book, it will say, it will explicitly say each author owns the copyright for their material. All authors have given permission to include their chapter herein. It will explicitly say that. The book itself will not say copyright, with the Library of Congress number. And it won't say copyright and the year, right? Because the book can't be copyrighted if each individual chapter is separately copyrighted by their owner. So really important to know that. Really important to ask some of the questions we've already talked about, to ask about royalties, to ask about promotional plan, marketing plan, distribution plan beyond the launch. What's their plan for 6 months from now? What's their plan for a year from now, right? It's really important to ask them who's going to house the manuscript, like who and where, and who's back office. It's really important to ask them what platforms they're using and which ones have exclusivity, right? These are the questions that we've already talked about, but I'm reiterating them because it's so important to ask the publisher that may be doing the book compilation, right? Super important. Great. What else is included? If I'm in this book compilation, are we doing any kind of virtual summit or virtual, 3-day event? Are we doing any kind of virtual conference where we're all speaking? How do we get those assets? Are we getting those assets, right? Are we going to be able to get the footage of us speaking about our material on this, group event? Are we getting that footage? Well, that's good, because then you'll have some more material to leverage, right? Are we doing Facebook Lives with each other, right? Well, that would be good, because then not only are you promoting, but then you're getting this content that you can repurpose, right? On social media, you're getting in front of other people's audiences. So you want to find out exactly what the plan is, exactly what you're going to be doing, and exactly what assets you are receiving, right? Are you receiving copies of those Facebook Lives? And do you have permission to use them in any way you want? And this should all be fine print in your book compilation contract. But if not, you want to ask these questions. Beyond just the book, what assets are we getting? Right? What videos are we getting? What graphics are we getting? What rights do we have to use them going forward? Are we which members of which co-authors in this book compilation have podcasts? And are all of us individually going to be guests on their podcasts? And then do we get that footage? And then do we have rights to use that? So ask the questions, right? If they are a reputable publisher, they will welcome questions. They will be able to answer them. If they are not, they'll get upset. And if they get upset that, oh my goodness, you're actually asking appropriate questions that are credible, that are valid, then you can decide whether you want to continue to work with them or, how you want to navigate that. But you should be able to have these open kind of discussions with them, really asking these questions that are critical for you to know what exactly are you paying for. Because if you're only paying to be in a chapter of a book without quality control, without the research, where the cover is atrocious, where they don't have a plan, then you're paying for nothing other than an empty accolade that you're not really going to be able to truly leverage, because you're not going to have an asset you can actually give them with any kind of pride and credibility. So really important. You also want to ask in Vanity Press whether you're getting a custom cover, meaning are they only doing one standard cover? And if so, whose name is on it, right? Or are they doing a custom cover where it's going to be your name on that cover? Now, I will tell you, custom covers are amazing. However, they are the number one cause of getting your Amazon account shut down, right? Because now with the AI sweeps, if you have a book compilation, they are the number one type of account to get closed in these new wave of sweeps. If you have a book compilation and there's a launch volume that has the person whose idea it was, their name is on the front, right? But your name is not on the front cover, and that's the launch volume. And then they have gotten different ISBN numbers. They're changing the cover. They're putting your name on it, and they're re-uploading those. You now have 11 versions of the exact same book out on Amazon or Ingram Spark or Lulu or BookBaby. And when that AI sweep happens, they're going to say these are plagiarized, because the AI will just scan the interior content. And guess what? The interior content is exactly the same. The only things that are different when you have custom covers is the cover is different and the ISBN number is different, right? The cover might have your picture on it or your name on it, but the interior cover is the same. The interior content is the same. And what that then flags is that these are fraudulent, these are plagiarized, and they'll shut down everyone's account. You don't get to reopen it once it's shut down, unless you get an attorney and fight. Good luck to you, right? So it is really important. In the past, that has been the model. In the past, it's you sell a book compilation, there's a launch volume that goes out with the organizer's name, but then one of the benefits, everybody gets their own version with their own custom cover and their name on the cover, and then you get to promote that and say, yeah, I'm a best-selling author, and here's my cover and all of that. And that was a model that actually worked until these AI suites, right? And now it's the number one way for getting your account shut down and tagged as fraud. So you are going to see less and less. You probably have been seeing less and less of the customized covers, which also then kind of reduces the benefit to you. So it is just important to be having these conversations if you're going to do Vanity Press.